NR with the super chat says, how do y'all rank Fonte as an MC and his influence? Is he Drake higher? Is Drake higher? Excuse me.
This
Yes,
nigga on
Drake is higher.
crack cocaine? Is this nigga on crack cocaine? Did he compare Fonte to Drake?
Well, I see what he's saying because
I don't.
Fonte has influenced Drake. And Fonte sings and raps. This is the problem though, and I was talking about this with somebody the other day. This is why people sign major label contracts. Because you could go out there as an independent artist and do all the work, do everything right, have a real fan base. And if the masses haven't accepted those things, it almost feels like what Jay said. More victories is for minor league coaches. And it's like it hasn't, and not to say that you're not at that level, because he's rhymed with everybody that we know Ponte is at that level, but it just hasn't been tested on that plane. So when we have discussions about impact, it's like it's hard to compete. And it's unfortunate because again, he did everything right as an artist, but signed that dotted line as a major entity. So it's hard to really gauge. So if you want to ask me in a vacuum, it's literally like saying, yo, they're saying that nigga in the park can beat LeBron one on one, is a better basketball player, but he hasn't been in the situations that LeBron has been in. You know what I mean? So it's hard to quantify. So I would have to put Drake ahead. If you ask my ears who I think is the better rapper, I would say Fonte. But if we put all of the criteria up, there's no way that he can even compete with Drake in the criteria just because of how massive that Drake has been and having to do it over and over, and he hasn't had to do those things.
First of all, we need to be clear about a few things. There are a lot of people that are pulling up that think about that it's always just about the MC. No, Mike, when it wasn't just that Rakim could rap his ass off and he had the records. It was the MCM jumpsuits. It was the big fucking Mercedes gold medallion. It was the chains. It was the aura. It was the look. It was the fade. I told you, Mike, I can go into a barbershop right now, like, give me the 96 Nas fade. And niggas like, got it, done. I ain't got nothing to do with rap, Mike. I don't have nothing to do with rap if I go ask for the 96 Nas fade. I didn't say I asked for 96 Nas lyrics. I can say I can go to a barbershop. I can tell a barber right now, like, give me the 96 Nas
But this fade. Is what I'll say, though, and I agree with you. I think that the push that you get from being a major artist gives you the stratosphere to live in, to have that kind of bandwidth, to have that impact. And when those things haven't been tested for an independent artist, it's hard to even put them up against a major. You know what I mean?
Mike, I'm going to tell you a true story. My man Tremaine, who helped start Battlefield Music, like the whole music shit started with me and my cousin and a guy named Tremaine, our homie from West Boulevard. Tremaine was a bigger dude. I was a smaller dude. We used to watch Biggie and Nas's wardrobe, like for shit that we like because they were closer to our size. He'd be like, yo, I need that Biggie sweater. I'd be like, I need that Nas bubble coat. We wasn't talking about rap when we was talking about them sometimes. So It's always been about having enough and being in the game enough to qualify rap-wise to be considered one of the greats, but it was never just about the rap and the bars. You feel me? It was never just that. Even with Rakim, even with Nas, even with Big.
Even with somebody like a J. Rue the Damager, who was nice as fuck.
You remember when Glove was saying NWA used to wear their hats? The hats was part of their uniform. Yeah. They couldn't come in with their hats. The hats was part of the NWA. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't just that they were NWA. No. The niggas with the Raider caps on? Yeah.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, just Googled the stats. Grant Hill averaged 25.8 points one time. Outside of it, it was 21 points or 20 points. He's Scottie Pippen with shake to him.
No. That was good stat looking. That might be correct.
DJ Bruce Almighty with the Super Chat says, I just heard Big Gip say Pac, DMX, 50 Cent, and Ja Rule were better than Jay, and Murder Inc. Was better than Rockefeller. Am I tripping? LOL. 50.
They made more hits.
I love Gip, man.
Actual quantifiable hits. If you look at the time that Rockefeller existed, like, where are the hit records that don't involve Jay?
I love Gip.
Ashanti? No. Ashanti went like triple, quadruple platinum out the gate, Mike.
I got to look at the interview.
Ja Rule literally went platinum, double platinum, triple platinum in that order.
We've had these conversations. I agree. When it comes to record sales and things like that, yes, Jay's been trumped many of times, right? But it was
Yeah.
something about what he was doing and how he was visible everywhere and his consistency at that time period. He was the guy in the game. It is what it is. The only person that you could say and make an argument for would be DMX, I would say. I don't know. I didn't watch the interview. I saw the Art of Dialogue title or whatnot when Git was saying some of these things. I'll watch it before I really make a real breakdown on it. But it almost comes across as, I just didn't rock with Jay like that, and I think that these people are better, which is fine. Now I will say this: Big Boy is the first person I ever seen wear a throwback jersey in hip hop, and it was in a Goody Mob video.
Facts.
And
Black Ice.
Yeah, Black Ice. Yes, excuse me.
When he walking down the street with the pit
The
bull.
Astros jersey. Yes.
That's how we found out about the pit bull business too.
Right, that too. And then, according to Kanye, he seen that and went to the Mitchell and Ness store that was in Lenox Mall at the time.
That is correct.
Bought throwbacks, and then went up to Baseline was creating, and Jay kind of took on the throwbacks, and I think Jay got a lot of credit for bringing throwbacks to the game and getting a lot of people on the East Coast to really start rocking those. I don't know if Gip feels the way about that. I don't know, because I will say this:
the Dungeon team like that. No, I'm telling you, he feels some type of way
because
about that.
The Dungeon family started a lot of things. The furry Kangos and the whole Players Ball thing. I'm not Players Ball. The whole wardrobe that Biggie had on Big Papa comes from Outkast's Players Ball video, which Puffy directed. So all the Kangos and all that stuff we saw Biggie in, that kind of came from the Dungeon.
First of all, Puff is a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Puff style Jodeci.
Mm-hmm.
Puff style Mary. Puff style Outkast. Puff style Big. So I'm not gonna say that Big Jack this time. No. That's Puff.
Now I don't know if Puff style cast. I think he just directed the video. I've never heard. Now I'm not saying wrong.
No. Andre
I've never heard
to just the things that he did in that video. He knew that he was like visionary and genius. Like
he told him to take off his shirt. Is what he told
him to take off his shirt and lean on the pool table. He's like, no. He's like, let the lady see your six pack right quick. He's like, no. Lean on the table, shoot the shot. Like, no. That's genius.
Yeah.
But
saying all that to say, you could see a lot of Big style in what the Dungeon was doing, and I know down here niggas was rocking Kangos before all that. So maybe Gip feels like a lot of the things that the Dungeon started, not to mention Dirty South, not to mention Hootie Hoo, they get slighted for, and that could be one of those things. I don't know, because they did start a lot of things that they don't get credit for.
No, they're super innovative.
Oh yeah. Because it wasn't like they were doing it because somebody else did it. They were always doing things that nobody else did.
Mike, there's a whole legion of us that would never even have invested into rap if it weren't for them.
Straight up.
We all know it. They straight up made us believe we could do it down here. Straight up.
They made us.
I did not believe until I saw them. Like, those guys were mythical figures in my mind that were from a place far away until I saw Outkast and Goody Mob.
You're right.
So that's invaluable.
Same way I felt.
Invaluable.
Yeah,
I know. No. I thought, Mike, when you're younger, it's like you think it's just you, and then you realize it's like, oh no, they did this shit for all of us.
And the way they did it too, like, and the level of quality they were able to come out with.
Well, that's why it was the quality. It's the first, Mike. They're the first. The Dungeon family. I don't care what anybody says. The Dungeon family is the first camp to come out of the South that music quality wise competed with the shit that Dre and them was doing on the West. They competed with the shit coming out of New York, musically speaking,
and lyrically. Yeah.
Right, as in the quality of the records, the quality of the MCs, the ability for these songs to get played on the radio. No, Players Ball's on the radio, Southern Playalistic on the radio, Elevators on the radio, Cell Therapy not as much, Soul Food on the radio.
Cell Therapy was on the radio.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, well, I can't speak.
I was in Charlotte. They wasn't playing Cell Therapy even in Charlotte. I put niggas on the Cell Therapy. It was on the B-side to the Benz or a Beamer tape. I literally put the niggas on West Boulevard tape. Everybody took my tape from me.
Such a great record. You and I was having a debate of what's the better record between Cell Therapy and Elevators. I think Cell Therapy is the better record. And I love Elevators. And I think Elevators is one of Outkast's best songs.
Mike, listen to what I'm saying. Benzo or Beamer and Cell Therapy were on a tape together.
Yeah.
And
Two of their best
I
songs.
remember I used to play it for niggas. Like niggas used to be like, "Coop, what you listening to?" But it was like I just be flipping the tape between those two songs. But that's how the neighborhood found out about Goody Mob on West Boulevard a lot of the way. Like Mike, I had the tape before they even dropped the video. So I'm in Charlotte on West Boulevard with this tape, and like everybody wants to listen to Benzo or Beamer, and I'm like, man, you need to listen to the niggas on the
Benzo or Beamer was the shit. They was playing that on the radio heavy out
No,
here.
that was on the radio in Charlotte. Yeah. Benzo or Beamer was on the radio in Charlotte, but Cell Therapy was not.
Kendall Outlaw with the super chat says 444 was clearly missing the bangers. Yeah. We heard what a J record sounds like without bangers. Let's be like this, for real. What J record or J album exists, solo album, where he has 0 bangers on them? There's not one. Because even Reasonable Doubt, if you feel like that doesn't have a quote-unquote banger, it has Ain't No Nigga and it has Can't Knock the Hustle. Bangers. Right?
Who is in here saying Kangols are New York fashion? First of all.
What Big Boy say? Been wearing furry Kango, so that shit is old. And he said that in 93.
I'm about to say, my family from Ohio.
Yeah.
On my dad's side. It's like, New York ain't inventing no Kangol shit, nigga. Shut up with that shit.
Hassan Sykes in the super chat says, the deepest song Jay has is You Must Love Me. And where have you been?
Yes. Yes. No. See, that's what I mean. Even on Where Have You Been, it's like Beans. That's where Beans is special because it's like, oh, no. Jay touching you, and then Beans like take your heart and just Beans, like no, this is how you.
Beans and Face have proven over, time after time that they can beat him in that chamber. Yeah,
he don't like when he goes there and they're around. It's like he always ends up with the third verse. It seems like.
Yeah. No, it's real.
It's a fact. Because but that's what I'm saying is that, like, how versatile is he? I can say the same thing about Scarface's hit making that I'm saying about Jay's
depth. Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
No, just asking questions.
Levi with the super chat says, what are your thoughts on Mace's Harlem World project? I was checking out the Shiny Suit era, and I honestly didn't understand how that record went 4 times platinum. Generational gap or poor transition? I like this conversation. I think Harlem World was one of the bigger albums of 1997. Right place, right time. Exactly, but again, this will show a generation that wasn't there. This is how big Puffy was in 1997.
No, but this is what I'm saying.
Anything he touched was gonna go. Like, you know what I'm saying? This was kind of like. I hate to say it like this, and not to cut you off.
Out and Life After Death, the More Money, More Problems verse to Warm Up.
So, I understand. Yeah, but this is kind of like, let's just say No Way.
He's on his Dark and Hell is Hot too, Mike. Like he's on like super big.
Well, that's after. After.
He's on albums that are selling more records than his album sold has featured, and people don't ever talk about that aspect about what made him pop.
Let's rewind, Coop, because Dark and Hell is Hot's after. Yeah, that's after.
Is that after?
Yeah, because Harlem World come out? Harlem World has 24 Hours to Live. That was 97. And DMX actually got his jump off on Harlem World. I think Harlem World is a bumped up version of what we used to get when Get Rich or Die Trying comes out, and then you get a Lloyd Banks album that's going to go platinum or gold, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, just off of the momentum of No Way Out, Harlem World was huge.
Here's what I will say.
And they were kind of a duo too, not to cut you off. People looked at Puff and Mace as a duo. So No Way Out was kind of just as much as Mace's album as Harlem World kind of involved Puff.
Correct. So Mike, they're walking in. They got More Money, More Problems. Mm-hmm. They got Been Around the World. They got Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. So they're multi off 3 songs they've already done together before Harlem World comes out. But here's what I'm gonna give Mace for. No, Mace executed. I don't care what Mike. You know how I say I don't like that happy shit. No, I like Feel So Good and Looking at Me.
Yeah.
And Tell Me.
This is how big Mace was. This is how big.
Bangers. If you listen to what I'm saying, those are bangers. Tell Me with Total, that's a banger. That beat is hard. Put that shit in the Jeep and let that shit knock, Mike.
And then he had the song with the Play Away with 8 Ball and MJG. He had street singles out there.
Yeah, he had 24 Hours to Live on there. No, Mike, he earned.
Yeah.
He earned them $4
This is
million.
how big Mace was. After Big passed, obviously Jay wanted the crown and the title. Mace was a target for Jay at that point.
You know
That's
what?
why he was dissing Mace on Imaginary Player.
They did Nas told Mace one time, and he talked about it in an interview. He's like, stop letting these niggas clown you. Like, these other niggas would have put on that suit too to do the shit that you just
They
did.
did. They all did. They all did. From
Nas,
X
I
to
believe that's
J
Nas in
to
the
the
Red Leather a year
Locks.
later in the Hate Me Now
Yeah.
video.
They all did.
With Puff. Hello.
With goggles and everything. They all did. So yeah,
Bro.
no one could talk about him. He is the one that actually made it work.
Furs, and there was white tigers coming out. Puff had niggas out here bawling out of control. There's a white tiger in the Hate Me Now video.
Puff had everybody confused.
Look here. That's your Streets disciple in red leather and white tigers in the video in the club with Puff. That's your Streets disciple.
Yeah. No, that's real.
That's
Hassan
real.
Sykes with the super
That's
chat
what
says.
97 and 98 look like.
Hassan Sykes says, do y'all really listen to Song Cry? It's not deep. He's just talking about a woman who cheated on him after he cheated. I guess the way I'm looking at it is deep. I'm looking at it as the fact that he dug in and kind of put a level of pride aside, where at a point in his career where pride was at an all-time high and ego was at an all-time high. That's one record where he tried to slightly push the ego aside. KC1 with the super chat says, so Nas's 12th best album is better than Jay's 4th best album.
No.
Well, we're going to have to do a chart. I don't think that's the case.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because I think his 4th best album is something around American Gangster Volume 2. I would have to say Volume 2 or something.
Now, I would tell you that I think the gap right now because of this KD series is that Jay's 4th best album is somewhere probably where Nas's 7th or 8th best album is, and that's probably the problem. American Gangster is closer to getting compared to something like, what do you think's a fair comp for American Gangster?
Life is Good?
Mike, that'd be about 6, 7, 8. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Life is Good ain't no top 5 Nas album, and I'm tired of people saying
that. Not anymore,
that.
no.
No, it's not.
I don't think it ever. Was it ever? Maybe.
It never really was for me.